Welcome back. We want to continue our series on creating the best LinkedIn page and using your best LinkedIn page today.
Right. So let's focus on the power of the LinkedIn About section, right? That's an important
thing. It's often overlooked. I'm shocked at how many times. So Kelley and I use LinkedIn when we're creating our own partnerships and looking to reach out to people in our space. I always say to you, I can't believe they don't have a LinkedIn About section. It's so valuable. It's the one part of LinkedIn that really tells the reader who you are.
Yes. It gives you your flavor and your vibe, and it's where your personality can come alive.
Absolutely.
And that could be one of the determining factors to, hey, I want to talk to this person because of your About section. So let's break it down for you. So what questions should the About section answer?
Right. So these are the major questions. What do I do? Where and or for whom do I do it? How do I do it?
Right.
That's the qualitative part. And sometimes if it's a more mission-based work, why do I do it? So those are the main questions. So for example, if I look at your LinkedIn profile and all you have is your experience section, I'll know what you did. I'll know maybe a little bit of your results. I may not know where you do it. I may not know who your clients were, what your team looked like.
You might know like the actual company.
I'll know where you worked, but that doesn't, if I work at, General Motors, that doesn't really tell me who my team were or who if I work for a consulting company, who my clients were. It doesn't get much at all into the how you do it, the qualitative piece of it. And it certainly doesn't touch the why do I do it. And so those are the key questions that it has to answer. And the key also is that it's told in a narrative first person format. So you hopefully have a resume. If you haven't looked at some of our resume YouTubes, you should, because we're really clear on what makes a good resume. And the first part of any resume, whether you are applying for an entry-level job or a C-suite job, is a summary statement at the top, a profile that just tells the reader a little bit about who you are. And that's written in third person. It's a little more formal, very different for the LinkedIn. You can use that as your foundation because you need to answer those same questions in your resume. But now on LinkedIn, I'm talking about me, and I'm talking about the reason I do what I do and how I got started and how exciting it is that I'm doing this. And this is the way I work. And this is what I want to do. It really, a good one is a call to action. Okay.
So I want to give an example of a really good profile, but before we, launch into that and show you an example of that, I just want to ask the question, like, what other value is, is there in this profile statement?
So beyond getting to, was there a couple of things. One is it allows you in your own language to talk about what you do, because a lot of LinkedIn is drop down menus, drop down for my job. These are the services I offer. These are my skills, my qualities. But in the LinkedIn profile, you're showing me in your own language, telling me in your own language what you do well. And as a reader, as a hiring manager, that means more to me than how many boxes you can check. For example, my 21-year-old self, like most 21-year-old selves, would probably check all 35 of the 50 boxes. I had no business doing those things. I don't have those skills. But when you have to write about it yourself, you're not going to be so casual about it. You're really talking about what you can bring to the organization. And then I think it's an organized, if a good one is organized format. It's a conversation. There are some bullets in there that show me this is what I do and how I do it. And as I said earlier, it's a call to action, but to specify that at the end of a good LinkedIn profile, unless you're already working and not looking for work, it says something like, I inspire organizations to perform at their best. I'd love to learn how I could help yours. Let's connect. And then an email address or a phone number, a call to action. So the person reading it doesn't have to think next. They can just click on something.
Easy access.
And a reason to call, like, let's talk and see if I can help your organization.
So the value even comes from just making it really clean, succinct.
And that next step.
And here's the next step you can take to get in touch with me.
I think the biggest value of your LinkedIn About section is that's kind of your script. So everybody talks about, we still talk about the elevator pitch, even though we're not really on elevators as much at work. But that idea of, I should be able to walk into Kelley Biskupiak at the grocery store and get talking and say to her, what do you do? And it should roll off her tongue. And that LinkedIn About statement, it's written in first person. You wouldn't necessarily deliver it
that way,
exactly that way, but really close. you'd make it really conversational by practicing it.
Mhm.
And in terms of portability, so that's a good way to use it, but virtually every interview you go on will begin with some type of opening question like,
Tell me
Kelley,
about
so good to
yourself.
see you. Tell me about yourself. What brought you here today? So it gives you the foundation for those answers too. So that portability is a really key factor in the value of your LinkedIn About section.
Great. Well, I think our audience would really benefit from seeing a good example of and kind of illustrating what we've talked about in this video today.
We actually teed one up. So this is a woman who took our program. Okay, so this is Kristen. Kristen graduated from our course about 1.5 years ago, and she's working at George Washington and as a communications executive. I'm going to read it because I want you to hear the animation in it. You can hear her voice almost. Let me just get out of here so we don't. All right, I'll do that. Okay. I love words. I love reading them, learning them, and making up new ones, but I especially love using them to delight or educate, to inspire or influence, to explain or illustrate. A storyteller since I could form sentences, I've spent my professional life using words to inform readers and make a difference. From eye-catching headlines to capital campaigns, to capital campaigns, to newspaper profiles of local students, I leverage the power of words to create high-quality content that resonates with its intended audience. So that's a very powerful, you're hearing not just what she does, but that she loves to do it.
Yes.
We want to hire people who are excited about their work. This is someone who's excited about sitting in an office and writing about a university.
Her energy comes across, and it also, as the reader, pulls you in.
Right.
But I love this next part.
Well, before I even do that, yes, I want also for them to notice the scale.
Yes.
So I've done it here, I've done it there, I've done it there. She doesn't list everywhere she's worked. That's for the resume, the experience part of the LinkedIn here. But she's giving me an umbrella. I've done it in education. I've done it in for fundraising. I've done it in a newspaper. Right. But wherever I've done it, my job is to leverage a message so that the person listening acts.
Yes.
So that's kind of her overall statement. Then this next section that Kelley just pointed out is her talking about what her key skills are. So as I said earlier, I, as the hiring manager, could look at how many boxes Kristen checked. But when Kristen takes the time to write these out in her own words, in her own voice, they have far more impact on me, the reader.
And I love how this just gets to the point.
Exactly.
You know, as the reader, as a recruiter or a hiring manager, as I'm looking through, this just immediately pulls out in a very easy on the eye way.
And I'm glad you brought that up because this is a fair amount of text. She probably only used about a third or half of the characters available. When you know that LinkedIn offers that many thousands of characters for a section, they're expecting you to write. So if your LinkedIn profile right now is a sentence or two, you're wasting space. Go ahead and take some of that space up. But she's anchored it nicely with white space. So as Kelley said, it was kind of draws the eye in. It's easy. It doesn't look overwhelming.
Yeah, because I will tell you right now, if I see that was paragraph upon paragraph, I will actually not read it. I will read maybe the first paragraph and probably could be pulled in a little bit. But this to me is like, it gets to the point. It's digestible.
And it's not overwhelming to look at.
Nope.
So then she goes on. Now she adds a little bit more color. I write for diverse audiences in a wide range of styles. So she's talked about kind of her content and context. Now she's talking about the way she writes, from call to action, corporate and nonprofit, to attention grabbing, journalism, and short and long form narrative, creative writing. And my ability to generate clear, concise communications across audiences and channels helps mission-driven organizations reach their goals. I'm a keen problem solver with exceptional adaptability and open-mindedness, and a thoughtful, curious creative with an eye for detail and a global perspective. My love of language helps organizations achieve their goals. So now Kristen's working at George Washington. Before, her call to action, which was another sentence after another space, said, I'd love to talk about how I can help your organization achieve its goals. Please reach out. And then she put her email address. This is an excellent, Kristen, I hope you're watching this. We'll have to tell her. This is an excellent LinkedIn About section. It checks all of the boxes. It tells us what she does, where she does it, how she does it, why she does it. And then it provides a little extra color, some context, some scale, and a call to action. If you can do something like this, you'll be in great shape.
Yes.
All right.
And it's just great to have a good example of how to write that. So if you liked what you heard today, we actually have something that we a course that we have for students to sign up for called the LinkedIn Lab.
LinkedIn Lab.
It is a self-study, so you do it on your own time. It's fully flexible, but it will help you learn to leverage and maximize your LinkedIn page.
And we designed this because we had students come to our full course.
Yep.
Who really just needed help on LinkedIn. They'd already done everything else. They'd maybe worked with a coach or they'd done it on their own.
Yep.
And we're like, well, we can't just, it's not a good use of their time or our time or a good use of a seat in our program to have somebody in it. So we thought LinkedIn is something that we can teach separately. So this LinkedIn Lab, it's very low cost, very high value, lots of touches, step by step on how to create the page. And then, and we'll get to this in a future video, step by step, how to use it.
Yes.
So please check it out. We're gonna have Megan put the link in and you'll be able to just at least get to the program, learn a little bit more about it and see if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah. So if you like what you heard today, you can hit that like and subscribe button, and we give new content every week to our audience. And if you want to learn more about us and our programs, you can reach out to us at www.preparetolaunchu.com. Thanks.